So a lot of you guys believe that Miyabi would absolutely cook Sans in a 1v1. But what if I told you, if Miyabi ever tries to fight Sans, she might end up being reunited with her mom in the afterlife? And I'm going to explain why. If you look at the speed feats, first of all, you'll notice that there's a massive differential factor in the two characters. While yes, Miyabi is an extremely capable fighter that can move at extraordinary speeds, Sans can literally teleport instantaneously, freeze time and space itself, and is so omnipotent that he's self-aware of the disruptions in the space-time continuum. If you take a step back and look at the time freezing feat, you'll notice that he's able to talk and move perfectly fine despite time being frozen, which by definition should be physically impossible. So how the hell is he able to move despite time being frozen? Well, in order to achieve this feat, you need to be able to somehow exist outside of time, which means that Sans exists beyond the fourth dimension. So knowing all this, how exactly does this compare to Miyabi? Well, when it comes to speed, Miyabi is no slouch either. She was able to easily catch up with a car that had a massive head start against her. And in her fight against Nevea, she was able to destroy every single spawn from her in quick succession. So I think she's pretty fast, but there's one feat from her that stands out from the rest. That being the feat from the teaser trailer. She literally jumps out of a helicopter and destroys every single hollow core in a newly erupted hollow in a city within 5 minutes. And in the trailer, when they zoom into her fight, she is not visible to the human eye at all. So given that she's not visible to the human eye, how fast would she be going? Well, for a person or object to be moving so incredibly fast that the human eye cannot track them, you'll need to measure something known as persistence of vision. To put it simply, if an object is moving faster than your persistence of vision, then it will become invisible to the human eye. So given that according to this random ass website, persistence of vision is around 1/16th of a second. So in order to calculate her speed, let's apply the laws of physics. But before that, let's paint a random picture and place Miyabi in a room. Let's say that room is 10 meters wide, and in order to be undetectable to the human eye, you need to cross this distance in around 0.0625 seconds. So if we take the formula for speed, which is equivalent to distance over time, and we plug in those numbers, this will mean that Miyabi is at bare minimum moving at 576 kilometers per hour, or for you Americans out there, 358 miles per hour. So yes, Miyabi is ridiculously fast. And if we take into account that she is able to deflect missiles and bullets, we can easily say that the number that we just thought of is a complete lowball for her, given that missiles can move at around 3 to 10 Machs in the real world, and including the assumption that Miyabi is a lot faster than Ellen Jo, who was easily able to slice missiles without even trying. Then we can easily highball her and say that she's around 8 to 10 Machs in speed, which is 10 times the speed of sound. So yes, compared to people in her universe, Miyabi is insanely fast. But unfortunately, against Sans, she stands zero chance. This is because, as we mentioned earlier, Sans can transcend the fourth dimension and instantaneously teleport, which means that he completely disregards the variable for time, given that he transcends the fourth dimension in its entirety. So for this specific category, Sans definitely takes the cake. Well, now that we're done with the speed feats, what kind of attacks do each of these characters have? Starting with Miyabi. Now we all know that Miyabi is an extremely skilled swordsman, as she's able to fight against ethereals with ease. She has the ability to conjure ice, and can freeze enemies with the sheer touch of her blade. But all her powers are massively multiplied with the thanks of Tailless. After her pact with Tailless, she was able to slice Bringer in one hit with ease. And as a result, she was also able to slice a hole in the hollow, which is an incredible feat. That is until you realize the hollow immediately repaired itself after that slash, and that regular humans can just walk through the hollow for no reason. Yeah, we're just gonna move past that feat real quick. Ignoring that feat, she did slice this giant boat in half, which is a massive feat. So given that she's able to commit such massive acts of destruction, we can probably scale Miyabi to around city level. But what about Sans? Well, if we analyze his fight with a possessed Frisk, we can see that he's capable of something called soul manipulation, which is basically when he grabs your soul and flings you around all over the place, essentially controlling you telekinetically. Okay, so we know that he's good at soul manipulation, but what about his other attacks? Well, he has access to some of Gaster's inventions, one of them including the Gaster Blaster. To put it simply, the Gaster Blaster is just a channel of raw energy to, kill you. These blasters were capable of hurting a possessed Frisk, which is a pretty major deal because Frisk at maximum determination is able to withstand attacks from a multiversal level god, Azrael. I mean, Azrael can casually erase an entire timeline and literally destroy the entire universe. So Sans being able to defeat Frisk so many times is a massive feat in itself. But he still dies eventually, so take it as you will. So while Miyabi is able to tear holes in hollows and destroy bolts, Sans is able to fight multi-dimensional beings that are capable of destroying the entire universe. So if we take that into account, then I believe Sans definitely beats her in terms of attack potency and attack strength. So now that we know a lot of information about the two fighters, how exactly would a fight between them go? Well, given that Miyabi is an extremely skilled swordswoman, she would definitely have a pretty easy time to navigate his attacks. But the only issue with it is that she won't be able to hit him, and here's why. While yes, Miyabi is insanely fast, she still needs to worry about one variable that Sans doesn't need to worry about at all, and that is the variable of distance. Given that Sans is capable of instantaneous teleportation, the variable of distance is completely irrelevant to him. However, for Miyabi, she does not share that same complement. And given that Sans can literally transcend space-time itself, and that he's capable of going against a trans-dimensional being in Frisk, to be honest, I think it's completely unlikely that Miyabi can even lay a scratch on Sans. However, given his in-game stats, if Miyabi does by some miracle land one hit on him, then he will die. But given that that is extremely unlikely, Sans takes this win in a negative diff, unfortunately. So if you guys disagree with anything I said, let me know in the comments down below, and peace out.